ready for. Well, I know they have it, but like I'm ready to have mobile devices being able to really interact with this and to not have to be like I like the NFC where like on the Ledger X where like you can just
Hmm.
like boop, it's near it, right? And that with also the FIDO keys or like the Ubi key. Like
YubiKey,
Hmm.
yeah.
yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
ordered
yeah.
I
10 YubiKeys the other day for my whole company, basically. I think
yes.
YubiKeys are amazing.
Hey, cheers.
I love it.
Two-factor authentication, man. It's the best.
Bro, are you ready for this? Yes. It's
Oh,
It's 8 a.m. for you? Oh, no.
yeah,
Okay,
I
you
got I
begin.
got the NFC Ubi key as well as the
oh,
Oh,
yeah,
you have the double-sided one? Okay, show
so
it.
that's
yeah.
like so you got the lightning and you got the
Light,
USB-C.
Lightning USB-C, and then I have the wireless, the
Oh, that's
Wi-Fi
awesome.
USB-C.
Interesting.
Pritesh, you have a YouTube link for this to stream out?
Yep.
I can share on social and stuff like
It's
that.
on
Yep.
in the chat.
I just posted in the chat.
Oh,
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
If you guys
that's
want to
neat.
blast that around everywhere, so we're live right now. We got about 12 people watching, so I'm just going to see if I can tend to the chat here. Hello, everybody.
Hey, 12
Thank you
people
so much
watching.
for joining. We got Anthony in the house. What's up, Anthony? Happy Saturday. Yes, sir. Hope you're doing well, man.
Which Anthony is this?
Bloom Anthony.
Hey, Bloom Anthony.
We got Robert. Hello from Slovenia. Hello, Robert. Mia's Art Tips and Unboxing. Hi, Kaizen. Adam. Good morning. Thanks so much for joining today, guys. Really appreciate it.
Well, it's morning for us. It's not.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yes, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're doing well. Yeah, Alex. Alex has his beer. Patrick. What are you drinking there, man?
Monster Energy
Monster
because
Energy. Okay, here we
I'm a
go.
junkie and yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Pritesh and I have coffee, in case anybody's wondering.
Do we have the same cups or why does it look like that?
I just
Oh,
have
it's
a
the
Starbucks
Starbucks
tumbler.
cup. Oh
Yeah.
my god. Who buys a Starbucks?
You know,
cup
you
for
know
his
who
home?
you know who does it? The person who shops at Costco, and they had a 4-pack for like $10.
Ah, okay,
So
that's fine, I guess.
yes, that's who buys it.
I blame all my poor decisions on Costco. So
I've never been to Costco in my life, but okay.
if you ever have like a 200 pack of toilet paper, it's probably because of Costco.
Yes, that is a true statement. Hold on, let me get this tweeted out.
Hey, Steven. I got all these Portuguese people in the chat. I'm gonna just like turn this into a visa consultation because that's cool.
Oh, please no. But I'm so excited for you to come to Portugal. I'm gonna be staying in Lisbon or maybe even Porto for like 2 or 3 months. So
That's awesome.
What?
and I pushed it out. I would have gone actually like now.
Sooner, yeah.
Now I'm in Bosnia instead. So yeah.
When you get there, you need to let Florian know. You guys can go surfing.
Surfing.
Yeah, I
do I
mean,
look like the surfing type?
Of course you do.
Patrick, before you go surfing, please give me your private keys, okay? Because I think I can imagine your body getting torn up by the surf. Just like boom. Yeah, or you might. I haven't done it for a while. You know, I'm worried that you might spontaneously combust if you step into the sunlight.
Oh god.
Oh gosh.
You need some melanin like Pritesh and I over here, right?
Oh, that's so terrible. What do you? I have more faith in you, Patrick. I'm just gonna throw
Thank
that out
you.
there.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
I will go surfing with Florian and I'll
Deal.
force Alex to go surfing with us.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll float very well.
When I lived in LA, I went to the beach one day. It was one of my first days in town. I was like, and I'm coming from the Gulf, like the South, so the water down here, it's like a bathtub. It's just kind of, and I was going, okay, great. I'm just gonna go hop in the water, and I go down to the beach, and there are waves, and I'm going, oh, that's a lot of moving water. Okay, this is okay, and I run into the wave, and I don't even pay attention. I didn't, you don't stop to think. I'm like, I'm in Southern California, so I'm far south. No, you're not. That water was still frigid. So I get hit in the chest with like this icy water. At least it felt icy. And then I look around and I see people in wetsuits, and I go, oh, now I understand things. So all that to say, I don't surf. There you go. So.
Yeah, I haven't seen too many Indian dudes on a surfboard. I'm not gonna lie.
You haven't been to Goa, man. You need to go to Goa.
That's true.
Yeah, check it out.
There's probably a lot of cool spots there in India.
It's funny. There's a state on the southwest of India called Kerala, and the Keralan dudes are like super chill, and they just reminded me of Californians, like tall, good-looking guys, like long hair swept back and just like relaxed and token up on stuff occasionally. And I'm like, you guys are basically the Californians of India. That's so cool.
That is awesome.
And, yeah.
Oh,
we have any agenda today, or are we just chilling and hanging out and taking questions? I'm fine with whatever.
Well, hey, happy 62K Bitcoin today.
Oh, shoot. That's awesome.
Do you still own Bitcoin?
No.
No, I don't.
I do. I do. I got to have a little bit. I feel like it just gives that extra security,
I recommend to like friends and family to hold Bitcoin, but I don't personally hold Bitcoin.
Yep.
That's fair.
If any Fed is watching, I don't own any at all.
We had a surfing accident earlier. We're all broke as fuck. our queue into the started.
Oh, we got a couple people in the chat here. All right, let's see here. Tyler, hey, I made it while washing dishes. Awesome. Thanks for joining, Tyler. We got the Duck Pool. What's up, Duck? Hope
Quack,
you're well,
quack.
man.
Flying V, baby.
Gray Skull. Hey, guys. Yo Monad. What up? What up?
Wait a second. Can we just take a second? Does anybody on this call recognize or appreciate the reference to Flying V by any chance?
Flying V, like Mighty Ducks?
Yes! Thank
Mighty
you!
Ducks?
Okay. Yes! Okay. Come on, Duck Pool.
I'm like, there's no way he's making a Mighty Ducks reference.
Oh, I most certainly am. Duck Pool, if you hear me,
guy?
If you hear me, I'm gonna need you to make a Flying V, like some type of promotional material for your pool. I'm just throwing this out here. Just throwing it out there. Free advice.
Isn't like Brock Pearson or something, the Mighty Ducks Bitcoin guy who like relocated to Puerto Rico for a while, or still?
Puerto Rico.
You guys don't know this? There's like one of these, I think in 2017 or earlier, there was this like, they tried to build like a crypto utopia in Puerto Rico. I'll stop trying to be pretentious and pretend like I know how to pronounce it. And one of these guys, like the child actor from Mighty Ducks, he's a kind of an eccentric looking dude, sometimes wears hats like Ben Gertzel. But
no, I haven't heard of that. I know that there are a couple of people in our community, I won't speak to their names behind their back, but I've definitely heard that that's a place that you would probably want to be, I guess, if you're a U.S. citizen. I don't know if like a lot of people are going to be going there for tax reasons. I have no idea, but it makes sense. If you live in the United States, I guess Puerto Rico is still kind of part of the U.S., but then it's also kind of like separate from mainland. So
the really interesting thing that I understand about Puerto Rico as a U.S. citizen, no matter where you live in the world, because I used to be a U.S. citizen, you have to pay U.S. taxes no matter where you live on your global income. And for some weird reason, some kind of tax treaty internally with Puerto Rico, U.S. citizens don't have to pay federal income taxes after living a year in that territory. So it's the only place you can live in the world and not have to have a federal income tax or maybe even capital gains tax, I'm not sure, without giving up your U.S. citizenship. So I would expect to see a lot of people kind of relocate there for a while. And then it's also you don't need a visa or anything to move there. So you can just move there, live off staking rewards and chill for a year and then figure out what you want to do after that. But it's not a bad idea.
Uh-oh. Side note.
Nice. That sounds pretty good. I think we got a audio fix on the mic.
Issue.
Yep.
Yeah. Duck Pool just said, "Thanks, Ryan." Upside down smiley face. I think I might have. Like he might have already had something in the works. Sorry, Duck Pool.
Oh, here's a good one. Patrick and I, when we first jumped on the chat, we were just talking about the update video yesterday. They did like a mid-month update. Mm-hmm. So we got a good question here. I guess we can start off with this a little bit and then see where it goes. But Gon Santos, thanks so much for the question. Says, can you talk about PAB? So the Plutus application backend.
again.
I know, right?
You know what? This is going to be a meme, I think, a year from now, or probably sooner. Got Pab? Question mark. Like got milk? I think if we just got Pab with a question
I
mark.
think the most interesting part about the Plutus application backend for me is that most of the big protocols that are being built at the moment don't use it. Like, as far as I know, Liquid isn't using it. Um, MintSwap isn't using it. SundaySwap isn't using it. NFT Maker isn't using it. We don't really need it, to be honest. So we're not using it. So yeah, it's but in general, I think a lot of people don't really know what it is, and I have to agree. I'm also not super confident to talk exactly what it is. The way I understand it is that it's essentially the bridge between the smart contracts and the web applications, and you kind of need it for that to be able to run smart contracts not only through the CLI but actually through your web browser and web server essentially.
I can tell you, our CTO was watching that yesterday, going, "Yeah, this spider might not change timeline for us, depending on what they say tomorrow." So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool to think about how some of these top dexes aren't even worried about it. They're actually building their own tech. And I think that's going to really make it easier for them to build on top of it in the future. They're not having to wait for something from IOG. I think that's pretty cool. And Patrick, what do you think about what we've seen so far with smart contracts? I know we were talking about the SpaceBuzz marketplace. I think that's pretty cool. It's pretty functional, but I think in terms of applications, it's very bare bones, kind of basic. In terms of a marketplace, it's not a whole lot of features. So, it's going to be interesting to see like some of these dexes, the complexity of these applications. I think just in the next couple of months, we'll see they really start to take shape.
Yeah, I think the main issue at the moment is, well, it's not really an issue, but what happened until now is that all of the like major platforms or major tools that we use in the community have been built by one person, essentially. Alessandro, of course, is big there with Nami and now it's Marketplace. Stale is basically the only developer behind CNFT.io. I was the only one behind NFT Maker for some time. And the same, Adam Dean is the one behind a lot of NFT drops, stuff like that, right? And where we have to go is we have to professionalize everything, and we have to have bigger teams and more money and more knowledge, because it's not scalable that way. And we can see it everywhere. CNFT.io is not scaling very well. NFT Maker has sometimes scaling issues. Every tool that we have has some sort of scaling issues, and the only way to get around that is by bringing in people who are outside of the Cardano space often and building competent teams that can actually, tackle these things and build something bigger. That's what I'm trying to do at the moment. I'm actually bringing in a lot of people who are not connected to Cardano at all and are just, regular software developers, regular hardware people, whatever, and then having them essentially build something which really works for like the masses.
Well, yeah. I thought it was really interesting watching Patrick, your interaction on Twitter. I think, was it with Adam, where you guys were basically saying, "Oh yeah, we're throttling today because there's so many NFT drops going on," which, first of all, let's just appreciate the fact of how fantastic that is. So we have people that can just they're agreeing for the betterment of everyone's experience to make a common choice, but also the fact that we have to do that as well. And then also the fact that there's that high of demand, right? So you have Ethereum where people complain about the gas fees, but then you have on Cardano, we're known now for these massive drops of like tens of thousands of NFTs at one time. So it's really interesting watching this whole thing evolve in real time.
I think it's so funny that if you combine Adam and me together, we're responsible for more than half of all NFTs on Cardano, which is just blowing my mind.
You are kind of an amazing person, Patrick. I also think the quite interesting thing is it wasn't so long ago that Patrick and I were talking about like what are NFTs and why is this, like that was maybe like 5 or 6 calls ago. And I just think it's so amazing that Grayscale, is it? The big Bitcoin fund people.
Yep.
Were publishing this kind of report about the on-chain metrics and the utilization of the chain, and how maybe the price of Cardano is undervalued for the amount of volume and activity going on, and that's, I would say, almost purely because of NFTs. Like, if we didn't have an asset class that people could kind of transact in and use ADA for, people would just be staking and holding again, right? Like, because there aren't any DEXs, there aren't any DeFi apps, right? And so we're now at the kind of full point where, like, the tail is wagging the dog, and these, the JPEGs are leading the way in terms of showing, what are the bottlenecks and what are the kind of choke points in the current, network parameter scaling issues and all this kind of stuff, right? Which is kind of amazing to me, because there's an alternate universe where Patrick and I both decided not to do NFTs, right? And we're just sitting at home, trying to do something else, and it's, maybe Cardano is. I'm not saying we're the only people doing that would have been doing NFTs, but Cardano isn't in a space where the utilization is what it is, and we still have a lot of people just holding on to ADA and not spending it, and it's quite impressive to me what the whole kind of space has become.
I think so too.
I'm really curious to see the metrics as far as staked amount of ADA that's going to actually happen once DeFi protocols start going live and people are able to yield farm various lockups for loans and collateral and all these things. And I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder, okay, are we going to drop below that 70% stake threshold, or is it going to actually increase? I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Because I feel like, since we're proof of stake, that's one of our key selling points. We go 70% of our network is staked, and so we're secure.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think what's really cool with some of the things that I've been learning about is, even with some of these smart contracts, like Liquid is a great example. So just from one of the technical updates they posted, they said that using their smart contract to provide liquidity, you can have your ADA still remaining staked to a pool while supplying your ADA as liquidity to the protocol. So it's like you get the best of both worlds. You can have your ADA staked to a pool, earn that 5% interest, but then whatever is the yield for providing liquidity as well on top of that. I don't know if we'll see a huge drop in the amount of staked ADA. I guess if the price really goes up, maybe like $5-10, we see a lot of like OG holders start to take some profits, then like maybe I could see that. But I feel as if,
just keep in mind though, right? Like, in a normal proof of work network, right? The hash rate is what determines the security of the network. And in our case, it's, the game theory around the value of the tokens. And so, as at least since I got involved, even if the staking parameter drop or the amount staked dropped to like 45 or 35%, we'd still be a multiple more secure than we were in the past, because
absolutely,
the price of ADA has gone, 10x, 20x since when I first got involved. And so, we don't, I know percentages are important and we can talk about that in distributions, but just in terms of, sometimes it's good to not just think about percentages, but also absolute numbers. Like, how many billions of dollars do you need to compromise the Cardano network today, right?
Okay, but
with
isn't
this staking parameter.
Isn't the stake percentage a false indicator of that? Because what happens when people cash out? They send their ADA from their staked wallet to Binance, where it's immediately staked again. So essentially what happens is, we don't even see it dropping, even if they cash out. The only thing that changes is that Binance has more staked ADA, and that thus they control larger percentage of the network. So I think just focusing on the staked ADA percent is absolutely false, and like will not indicate if the network is under attack or is potentially threatened in some way. It's more about how much ADA can Binance control.
Oh, that's a good point.
Danielle asked when, or somebody asked, Leonard said, when will POS end on Cardano? Well, I'd say never. But
maybe with the quantum stuff, I don't know. Like, if there's a Cardano 3.0 and
well, I was about to say, I was about to say if Catalyst gets to a point where we're all voting on architecture level changes and whatnot, then maybe something could happen. But that's like what do they say? It's not it's possible, not probable though.
We got a few people in the chat here. Just going to say hello. We got Amy. Amy, thanks for joining. Hey, everyone, just got here. What all did I miss? So we talked a little bit about the Plutus application backend, just a little bit of chit chat, but glad you could join us. Steven says, why do I get the feeling that the PAB, so Plutus application backend, will be part of the DApp auditability checkmark for being in the Cardano DApp store? Yeah, that's a good point. Definitely. I'm excited for that DApp store. It should be fun. Let's see. We got Mad Caleb saying, Alex still scuffed Mike. Yeah, we're working on that mic there. We'll see if it's any better. Unseen Jordan, what's up, man? How are you? Greetings to the quality Cardano lovers. For sure, man. Hope you're doing well.
Have you seen the comment by Steven?
Yeah.
That's the best one yet.
Alex, how's it feel to have more than one viewer?
I don't like it. I'm gonna turn off my mic and walk out of here. It's very uncomfortable. Patrick is my emotional support animal, and he's here, so I'm okay. But otherwise,
you've got to prep me before you say things like that while I'm drinking.
Yeah.
That's a.
one day you have to make another live stream just for me. Just
Oh yeah, I got you. Alex, have you been putting out some content, brother? I know you got a YouTube channel too.
I've released this little collection called Unsigned Algorithms, and that did pretty well. And,
been keeping you kind of busy, right?
Yeah. It's really weird not having to work anymore. I know this is totally uningratiating.
No, you have kids.
But like,
you have kids, bro. You never stopped working. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I mean, but I've been working full time on my relocation to Portugal, and also on my. It's so funny. Like, I now. Unsigs originally, like in the very beginning, was like a way for me to raise money to do this DeFi insurance thing, so that if that worked, I could in the future do what I wanted to do. And like I just kind of like took this weird shortcut to, I can do what I want to do. And it's so fun. I'm kind of considering that now, spending a lot of time trying to learn Plutus and Haskell. But
if you need a job, I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I wanted to make my own company is I've worked for 8 or 10 years in like corporate enterprises in R&D, and like I just got tired of the bureaucracy and the slowness and the kind of political changes that happen, especially in something like R&D. It usually takes like 3 to 4 years for what you're doing to like reach the marketplace. But what I kind of personally saw is that like the CEO changes every 2 or 3 years. Right. And then like they have a new kind of MO or agenda that they're trying to do. And then like, so you just start over and do everything differently. And it's just very frustrating. So I wanted to work with people like going forward that I want to work with. And Patrick is definitely one of those people. And I think, everyone, if we talk about like universal basic income or staking rewards, that kind of thing, like I really am just grateful to be at the point where I get to work on what I want to work on, and it's a kind of big responsibility, but it's also just like a hugely exciting thing, right? That I've always enjoyed my job, but it was still a job. There were still parts of it that were just like, so.
Well, I love it. I think everybody on this call has, well, not myself included yet, but the three of you have gone, because of Cardano, been able to go full time into this ecosystem, essentially. I mean, that's pretty freaking amazing. If anybody doubts the validity of this space, and by this space, I mean the crypto space, you need to look at all of the entrepreneurs that have literally left the current structure and are building the foundations for the new paradigm shift right now. I'm just saying, to me, that makes me so happy to see that. If anybody doubts the staying power, you're what is willfully ignorant at this point, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's been one of those experiences in life where you just kind of look back at it and you're like, wow, I'm so glad that happened to me. And I'm in that boat. I feel very grateful every day. I don't think crypto is going anywhere. And just to be able to be surrounded by people who share the same ideologies, like-minded people, driven people, it's just it's exciting to wake up every morning and do what we do. You know, just to think about, I would be around about this time, I would say, I would be sitting in traffic, you know, just kind of like waiting to get to my 9 to 5 before punching in, and then just doing my time and then coming back home on that wheel, you know, in the rat race. And I think a lot of people kind of relate to that, and they're looking at crypto as a way to get out of that, right? I think that a lot of people are in it for the financial freedom. And after you kind of solve that part of the problem, it becomes more so, well, what do I like, and how do I want to create and build, and what's going to make me happy and get me excited to wake up every day and do what I do. So that's a big part of it. And, you know, I tell you what, just having that financial freedom aspect of it, you know, to just fire my boss and say, hey, all right, I'm done. You know, that's
wait. It's like I like how you phrased that. Fire my boss.
Yeah.
I love it.
I don't need you anymore.
That's very
amazing.
good.
Well, I mean, seriously. So, I mean, I know Alex and Patrick, you guys weren't at the one in Wyoming, but like, I know Pritesh, you and I both were at the Cardano Live Summit, and holy cow! I mean, the amount of people that we met that they've been quote living off their crypto for the past, and there was almost like a badge of honor. It's like, well, I've been living off just crypto since 2016 or Moto. I'm sitting here going, this is amazing. That they've already opted out of the current system. They just happen to dabble back into fiat when they need to do, you know, the blasé things of life and interact with the traditional markets and whatnot. So I just think it's pretty, it's pretty amazing. So, oh,
Definitely is.
For sure.
we should do a quick thing because I know we have a lot of new people as well. But I know we were joking before the rest of us got online. We were joking about I got a new cold storage wallet in the mail, but I do think it might benefit us to do a quick, like, here's best practices of just in case, because we're in the last, in my opinion, I think we are about to see the last leg up of the bull market. And just in my humble opinion, whether it's either by the end of Christmas or if it goes into 2022, which I personally think it will, your portfolios are about to increase in value and therefore making you a potential target. I just feel the need that we should just make sure everybody knows. Get a cold storage wallet, like get a Trezor, get a Ledger. I don't care what. Take your pick, right?
Yep.
Use a password manager. Don't please do that.
Have backups.
Yes, backups of backups. I got what is, I don't even know. This is like a titanium seed phrase. If you don't use that one, use Bloom Pools. They have one where you can punch it with a punch, which
Crypt
is amazing.
Keeper. Yeah,
Crypt
that one's
Keeper.
really cool.
I use Keeper Password Manager. Do that. I know, Patrick, we were talking about Ubisoft or YubiKeys.
Yeah.
Use these if you
I have
can.
mine right here as well.
Yes. Use the Google Authenticator is fine. SMS two-factor authentication sucks. If you all didn't notice, somebody tweeted, but one of the infrastructure providers got hacked, and so people were able to get text messages that went across the telecom system. So just like two-factor authentication with SMS text message is crap. So just make sure y'all are protecting yourselves. And anybody posting their crypto gains online, please be careful. Because I've been seeing people get abducted and beat to try to get their keys, no joke. So
people get
There's
robbed.
a great XKCD about this, right? Where crypto nerds are there's no way to break my encryption, within the lifetime of the universe. And then it's like, hello, meet my baseball bat, and that encryption breaks pretty quickly, right?
yes. Somebody said, what about storing on Daedalus? Daedalus is fine, but you can also attach a hardware wallet to Daedalus as well, right? So put that, you need to use that.
Yep. I want to kind of piggyback off of that. So Ryan, you're talking about some best practices for new people. Tyler had a couple comments in here in the chat, and he said that I think we need to focus on helping new ADA investors understand how staking in a wallet to an SPO benefits them. And he worries that with all the extra platforms offering staking, so I guess like the ISPOs and Celsius and BlockFi and all that kind of stuff, people will feel less incentivized to take their ADA off exchanges. We need to help them see how it helps the blockchain to take it off. That's a really great comment.
I think we need to establish one vocabulary in reference to that, and that is custodial versus non-custodial wallets, right? And if anybody's been in the crypto space long enough, you know that old saying, not your keys, not your crypto. So if you don't have a mnemonic phrase that you had to write down and store, then you do not own the keys to the wallet in which your crypto lives. That's the short answer. So now that doesn't mean that Celsius or BlockFi aren't a valid option for some people, because some people do not want the responsibility of keeping their keys. I get it. Humans are lazy. That's our natural state of being. It's what it is. But if you can stand it and you can get used to these practices, put your ADA in one of these CC wallet, Nami wallet. I know now you can get more information about Nami, but right now I think it's more in beta, so I wouldn't necessarily put my entire life funds in Nami. That's just me. But CC wallet, Daedalus, I would be careful with your Roy right now, because it's been a little, people are not having the best experience with it right now. So in my opinion, I'm only using CC wallet or Daedalus right now for my non-custodial solution. Non-custodial being
Me too.
I have the keys.
I've been switching to CC Wallet entirely. It's the only viable option at the moment, I think. I mean, Nami is great, but Nami doesn't support hardware wallets, so I can't really use it for my main wallet. And CC Wallet has been amazing, honestly. And I truly think that Yoroi in the long term might not be a standard anymore, simply because Flint Wallet is coming out, developed by the people who developed Yoroi, just in their own company. And I'm not sure, is IOHK developing their own light wallet, or is that Flint Wallet? I'm not
I think
quite
it
sure.
might be Flint wallet.
Yeah,
is
I think they're
actually
the
what-
same
Actually,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I think they're the same.
So ccwallet.io, Slicekeeper. I know you're asking. It's a web-based interface, but it's a fantastic interface. And you can create a wallet right from the website, link a hardware wallet right then. It has a great interface on it. I think they did a great job creating that. It's not as flashy. It has a more utilitarian look and feel to it, but you have everything you need there, just as an aside, as a light client.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we say light client, that means that you don't have to download the entire history of the blockchain before you're able to use the wallet. So.
Yep. One of my favorite features with that is, for all of you NFT fans, you can actually see the little preview of the image in the wallet. I mean, I think that's super cool, because it's like you can use your hardware wallet, you can store your tokens on there, and then you can actually get a preview of it too. So it's like, it really, they've thought about a lot of things. I mean, yes, it's not the flashiest, but it's very usable.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I kind of view it like an old truck. It's like it's gonna get you where you need to go. You're not gonna have all the luxury items that looks pretty on the inside, but it's gonna work.
You can clearly see that it has been developed by German software developers who have no experience. It's just exactly like that.
Oh yeah, I love it.
If I look at software that my father develops, he's also a German, software developer. It looks exactly like CC Wallet, and it's just very functional, very smart, but it's not pretty. And if they hire like a good designer at some point, they can step it up. And I told them to do it, because that's, I think, what they need. And also they need to make their source code open source at some point. I think that's a necessity for wallets. And at the moment, I trust it because of my hardware wallet.
That wasn't open source.
Sorry?
I wouldn't use a wallet that wasn't open source. Full stop. I know you can verify it on your ledger, right? What you're signing and the contents of it, but
yeah, with a hardware wallet, it's fine, I think. But with anything else, I wouldn't do it either. But which wallet are you using, Alex? Are you not using CC Wallet? You're using Daedalus?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you're a noob then.
Well, one other thing I want to say this. Somebody asked about Ledger, their data hack. I want to be very clear. It was not anything to do with hardware wallets. What it was to do was with any person who went on the website to purchase a ledger, your information was leaked. So what does that actually mean for you in the real world case? It means that, well, now someone knows that you have a ledger. Two, they have your information. So be careful for phishing scams and emails with links and all that thing. That's where that would affect you. But the ledger itself is still secure. So I just want to make sure that we're clear on that. Yeah, it really is unfortunate that a cold storage wallet company had had their data breached. That's
pretty ironic.
Too well. Yeah, the irony is not lost on anyone. But that being said, it doesn't change their hardware. The hardware is still good. Just know that if you were in that data breach, which I know I was, that your email and contact information are out there. So there you go.
Can I ask what you guys are like? I feel like last time we talked, we were all excited for, Goguen and the Cardano Summit and a bunch of, but there's so much stuff. Like, I feel like all the announcements and releases, maybe except for Pad, whatever, have kind of come out. Like, what is the next thing I'm supposed to be hyped over or excited
Noon.
for?
You're excited over Noon. That's what you're excited for.
Obviously.
No.
At the protocol level, actually what you're saying is the kind of key, maybe actually is like, what's the stuff that's coming down the pipeline? Like, I've been pretty disinterested in all the dexes. I've been pretty disinterested in, all the DeFi lending platforms, and just kind of my approach is I believe in Cardano. I don't think I can have insight to pick a winner in these kind of dApps. Because I really don't know anything about them. I don't know the teams. I don't know their track records. I don't know their execution history. I don't know their internal strategies. So yes, am I going to lose out on gains by not being part of that? Probably, definitely, because I'm not. But I'm also not going to lose anything because I think, most of these projects, even if they have good intentions, it's going to be a few of them, one or two of them that kind of dominate. And I don't know that I have the skills to pick which ones are going to succeed. Noom is pretty unique in that it's in its own kind of space, right? I don't know that you have a lot of competitors in that area, but
not
most
on
of these,
Cardano.
swaps. Yeah.
There was another individual who might or might not have put another music streaming application under the dApp section of Fund 6.
I had a meeting with him.
Catalyst proposals are meaningless. If you have a Catalyst proposal, who cares?
Well, that person spoke in misinformation about my project, and so I felt I needed to educate him. Mm-hmm. So we chit-chatted, and I also pointed out his business model was flawed, and he said, "You're right, it is." Crickets. That's all that was left. So there you go.
That's very interesting. I'm very curious now because I spoke with him literally 2 days ago. He contacted me, and I told you we have some people from the music industry background now, and we talked with him, and it was interesting. I can't really say much more about it, but I would love to hear your opinion.
More. You can ask more specific. I don't know what specific questions.
We can do that off camera as well.
Deal.
But
Alex, I'll tell you what excites me, protocol level. I'm ready for some side chains. Just because I know for us, what we're going to be what Noom is going to be. A lot of our stuff is going to be a lot of side chain stuff going on. So I'm ready for that. Because I think that's
are you
going to
building
help.
Side chains at the moment?
Potentially.
Oh,
we have to talk more.
Okay. Deal.
But I agree. We need sidechains. At the moment, it's not feasible. With the NFT drops themselves are basically making the network unusable in some times. And I got so much hate for saying that the Cardano network was paused.
That was an ESL problem. I don't think that was
Yeah, that was I know that was yes. Well, so I want to take a second, and Patrick, I want to put it in layman's terms, and then you can fill in the blanks, I think, for as far as technical. But for any person listening, really, why sidechains? I think our ethos and what most people who are building on ADA, their ethos is keep the base layer as lean as possible. Any extra stuff that you need to do, high TPS, high throughput, lots of transactions, all of that, do that off the base layer. you can keep a ledger of all the transactions for, let's say, an epoch, and then at the end of the epoch, you submit that list of transactions that happened not on the main chain to the main chain, and then it basically you're charging one transaction to give all that information for, like, let's say thousands of transactions, as opposed to 1,000 individual transactions that all cost money on the base layer, and then clogs up the chain. That's, in my opinion, I think that's the layman's explanation of why side chains, why we need that. What would you say, Patrick? Would you?
Yeah, you're completely right. And we need side chains as fast as possible. At the moment, you know, if too many transactions come in, the network just has like this huge amount of transactions that it has to work through. And then sometimes it takes like 20 minutes or so for your transaction to come through, or even longer in many cases. And you know, that's only with like some random NFT drops. But now imagine DEXs and imagine all this other stuff, smart contracts. Our transaction size is also very limited. So we can only have like, I think Alessandro mentioned something like 3 or 4 executions of his smart contract for the wallet, for the marketplace, the Spacebuds marketplace, in one block, which is like nothing, right? And that's, you know, that's like all the things that are coming. So the blockchain is going to be very slow, I think, in the coming like 6 months or so. And then once we have side chains and once we have Hydra and all that stuff, it's gonna slowly get better.
Patrick, you had on Twitter, you had posted that if there was a Project Catalyst proposal that did the side chains for micro tipping, you know, I think micro tipping is going to be huge, right? It's like if somebody thinks about that, because if you want to submit a transaction to the blockchain, it's like 0.2 ADA, right? And then, you know, for all that to have to go through the main chain, like the entire network, I mean, you're going to get bloated pretty quickly when you think about these NFT drops, these DeFi transactions happening all at the same time. You know, I think micro tipping is just like, I'm excited for that in terms of a use case for side chains.
Me too.
Payments, right?
Yeah.
Micro payments, but yeah.
Well, Pratesh, that's what that's one of the things we're doing, right? Is direct micropayments of artists.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm totally with you. That's it's Patrick. I want to clarify something for everybody, just in reference to your tweet that we were all talking about, right? And I want to point this out. Somebody pointed this out, but for everybody listening, the chain didn't stop. It didn't stop. It slowed down. And here's the difference.
It didn't even slow down. It kept going. Well, yeah, there was a traffic backup.
Correct. There was congestion on the highway, right? Think about like a highway. The highway didn't break. We didn't exceed our weight limit. Nothing broke. It's literally just there was a lot of cars on the road and we had backup, right? That's all that meant. So, and I want to just point that out. And Patrick, I know you already said this, but I just want to vocalize it here. The network survived. It was fine. It didn't like cripple. It was literally just our transactions were backed up, and we literally can only have so many happen at one time, and so it was just a delayed reaction. The chain didn't break. We didn't do double spins or anything like that, or anything. We didn't stop. Nothing, right? It wasn't like a Solana thing or anything along those lines. So
yeah, the technology is solid. Yeah, we're on firm foundations here. They built it right.
I would even say that like it was working as intended, because the parameters are what they are based on the amount of traffic and normal usage, right? Like you wouldn't design an 8-lane highway through your local town, right? Because that would be a dumb thing to do. And now this may be a good topic, like, you know, the min fee is 340. We have all these protocol parameters and you know, maybe curve pledge coming up. I think it's one of the most interesting things is like IOHK put off all that stuff until after Goguen, right? I would expect to see something around these network parameters changing pretty soon in the next couple months. And I think that will affect a lot of stake pool operators who are currently banking 340 ADA and Epic, right? Which is a lot more than I think what it was intended to be. And I personally benefit from it, so I'll be quite sad.
Thank you for mentioning parameters. I was hoping whenever you use that term, I was like, please go down this road, because we need to talk about all the different network parameters that have not been changed yet.
So I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, I derive right now something like, you know, 30 to 50% of my household income from stake pool income, and you know, I'm prepared and expecting that to go down as the min fee is adjusted. But I do expect 340 ADA as the min fee to go down, and maybe to be replaced with a minimum percentage, rather than that minimum fee. Now the price of ADA is quite, like 10x, 20x what it was when that was originally established. And that'll be quite different for a lot of pools. A lot of the reason I say that is right now, if you get to 1 million or 2 million ADA, like you kind of are okay to a certain extent, because if you get one block a month, right, you can kind of pay for your, at least with a decent VPS provider, you can kind of pay for your server costs for a year. And at that point, it's just your kind of time to maintain it, right? But I think that actually if that goes away, you will see a lot of pools no longer have a financial incentive to run a pool.
So I think it's interesting you mentioned that, because there's some things in the works with other SPOs, but here's the deal. If you look at the business model for a lot of these SPOs right now, up to this point, it's been, I run a network, or I'm sorry, I run a node, I help support the network, please delegate to me, things will be coming. Right, and now it's kind of transitioned to, all right, NFT drops. Here's an NFT series. As a delegator, you get this drop every epoch, or in Patrick's case, you have an actual product to where if you're staking with Patrick, you get a reduction in the fees to use NFT Maker. And so what we're seeing now, in my opinion, is a change in business model. And unfortunately, for some stake pool operators who have no other value to the network other than just, I'm running a node or I'm running a stake pool, please delegate to me, I really do think that they're going to, it's going to move them out. Because I know for us, example, like Noom, side note for those of you who didn't know, stake pool, we've just rebranded and renamed it. It's now Noom, not Muse. Ticker symbol is Noom now, to be along with Noom, right? The app in the project. But I know, our people are going to, when we go live, when we do our token drop and start doing as a delegator, you're going to get our token with your ADA rewards. And then pretty soon, those tokens are going to be used in our actual application, in our ecosystem. So it's going to use and utility. And there's other stake pools who, like Patrick's, yours, there's, you're going to start getting tokens from these SPOs that actually have use and utility in applications. And so now you're going to have a group of stake pools that you're getting a lot of value prop for actually going with them, because you're going to get other tokens at a discount to go and use in these protocols. Whereas other SPOs who just said, please stake with me, there's not going to be a value prop to that, right? And so I think we're about to see a big shift in the stake pool game right now, just in my opinion. I think it started. Yeah, I think Meld started it. Whether we like or dislike Meld, they showed that the appetite is there for that type of value proposition. Now, I still think that people are stupid for giving up all their ADA rewards, but that's their choice. The protocol allows for it. Like it or hate it, it is what it is. But I do think that's where I see a shift moving in the coming months, to be honest.
I think actually I changed my mind about thinking that it's stupid to give up all the ADA rewards, because I used to think so too, but to be honest, 5% per year is not that much. And, what happened before that was essentially that people would go ahead and take their ETH and put it into ICOs. And that way they really lose the money that they made. So they're essentially gambling. Now what they're doing is they're taking the money that they would have gotten from staking and putting that into the ICOs essentially. And that's, in my opinion, a lot better than, like, they're just putting like a small percentage, and they're not actually buying anything. So I think it's a valid option for delegators. And if I was like a pure investor and pure delegator, I would probably do the same at this point.
Patrick, can I say one thing to that? You mentioned this, 5% is not a lot. I think we saw a race to the bottom as far as percentage charged per pools with the beginning of the SPOs. I do think we're now going to see rates go up on pools. And I think, this is me, I think in the next 6 months, I think the average percentage that a pool is going to start taking is actually, I think it's going to go up, not down. because of the value
Don't think so, yeah.
proposition that's going to be actually given to delegators. You know, if you're a
I mean, there are
delegator,
many. There are like the most interesting pools already for a big part of the community are actually the pools which give you a discount on CNFTIO. And I know you wanted to be a part of that, and I'm sorry you aren't. But it is what it is. So if you stake to Berry or if you stake to Stale or to Babel, you get an actual discount on the fees that CNFTIO charges you. So
From
that's
2.5% to what?
I don't know, but it's very low actually. I don't really use CNFTIO to be honest.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think most of them are kind of gimmicks, and I agree with Anthony in the chat that like it's not just 5%, it's 5% on an asset that is growing at like, you know, multiples a year. So
Yep.
it's not like you can think of it as 5% in the currency that's denominated in, but when you translate that currency back into you know, your local fiat currency, which is probably what you're using to pay your mortgage or buy groceries with, it's quite a lot of money at play.
totally. You know, but here's the deal: a lot of people just don't think like that, and so I think I'm not saying you're wrong. I think we just need to educate people, right? They need to understand the value prop, and that's where I think we, not the collective we, but like just we in the space, we're doing a small disservice to ourselves, just in the sense that we're really we're just not marketing ourselves appropriately, because the math makes sense, the value prop is there for a lot of these people, and when you see people go, a common delegator go, you upped your fees by 1%. Well, okay, well, let's stop and think about that, buddy. Like, let's really flesh this out, and then you tell me if that's unfair or not, right? Like, because a lot of people don't realize these stake pools are part of a business model for something that's larger than just a pool, right?
yeah, I think that's the cool part about the stake pools, which a lot of people aren't getting at the moment. It's, you know, the thing is, stake pools are often compared to miners, and of course, you know, that's their main thing. But I think stake pools are so much more, or they have the potential to be so much more, because every single business, every single tool that will build something big on Cardano will have a stake pool or multiple stake pools, which will somehow benefit the delegators of that pool. And it makes so much sense in my opinion. I mean, of course, at some point, if I have the NFT Maker marketplace, I will have my stake pool have like reduced fees or something like that. And it allows for so many experiments. And I don't know, the ISPOs or whatever they're called are just the beginning of that, but the stake pools will have actual utility for a lot of things. And that's incredibly cool, because it will lead to people that are actually using Cardano having to stake on real pools to
Yes.
be able to maximize their use case, and also bring people away from Binance and towards, you know, other stake pools. So I think that's like a huge unexplored avenue that we will see in the next year.
That's what we're about to start doing with Noom. Like,
yeah, exactly, right.
That's exactly what we're starting to do. So I'm with you. Like, we're already working through the business models on this, as far as, you know, what's appropriate, what's going to, you know, because you can calculate income with that, right? And a lot of people, like, I know we're using our income from Noom, from the stake pool, to pay people to work full time, right? And
That's
so
awesome.
and yeah, it's terrifying and awesome all at the same time.
I know. The stake pool is the only ADA that I cash out for myself, and I haven't cashed out in a long time. But I'm not paying myself from NFT Maker money. I'm putting everything back into the company, and so, you know, it's kind of a hard blow. We went from 17 million to I posted it to 1 million this epoch essentially.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wait, was that the CF delegation?
Uh-huh.
That was
Oh,
the
man.
CF delegation, but also my biggest whale left. So now we're
Ah.
like at just 1.2 million or so.
My heart goes out to you. That happened to me in March. Like,
I remember that time.
Yeah, like and they didn't even tell anybody. All of a sudden, you look up one day. I'm like, I have 17 million in my pool right now, and I have a smooth 2. And I was going, where did this come from? Oh my God, there's one person, which is great, but then also terrified, because you go, well, this is not a sustainable business model. How are you going to grow this in 3 months?
And I'm actually so glad that, because all of the big whales left now, and we're still over 1 million. So I'm very happy about that, because it shows me that the pool is actually stable, and I can live with 1 million. I would of course prefer more, but 1 million is at least enough to produce a block like every 2 epochs or so. So yeah, that's great. But we should, Ryan, or everyone here, I want to hear your opinion on a potential CNFT stake pool alliance. Just, you know, I'm thinking about, you know, making a stake pool alliance, bringing a few of the NFT artists into this alliance, and then also bringing people like Stale with CNFT.io or NFT Maker Marketplace, and then having like a lot of benefits from these platforms to all the pools which are part of the stake pool alliance, and we would have like a monthly NFT drop to, I don't know, a few delegators and stuff like that through the whole space of the stake pools involved, things like that.
Well, I would be down for that. But Patrick, we're using NFT Maker, bro, because I would have no idea where to start.
Yeah, of course. Okay, you would be down for that. Okay, that's very good to know.
You got one.
Perfect. I have a few already. I just need to find someone who can build like a website and stuff, because I don't have the time at the moment. So yeah.
Nice.
Well, we should talk after the stream, because there's some other there are things in the works. So
I want to be part of the new stake pool alliance for sure.
Ooh, yes, me too. Okay, count me in. There's a whole lot of cool stuff happening.
Coming, and yeah. I know that there are things coming also from Ada Frog, and I don't know other stuff.
Yes.
Like,
oh, he's doing some cool stuff like with the Doja. I've already claimed my tokens. So yeah, Kaizen delegators get a Doja tokens.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is pretty cool.
Yep, we that might be on our plate as well. So yeah, we can talk about that. So here's the deal. Stake pool alliances, those are going to be a thing. That is a new model. It's happening right now. It's going to be the thing moving forward. I want you to imagine a world.
Partner. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I want people here to imagine a world of, okay, if I stake to Noom, or if I stake to Kaizen's pool, I'm going to get. I'll have every epoch. I get to go to a faucet. I get to go put in my address. I send my little transaction fee worth of ADA, and then in return, I get a basket of tokens from other projects. Now, as a delegator to mine specifically, I get a larger percentage of this token, right? And so, as a delegator, you now can go shop. You can say, well, I like all these projects. Great, I get all of these tokens. But if I really want more of that token, I'm going to go put more ADA with them, right? And so that's going to help us combat the melds. That's going to help us combat the Binance pools, all of that. And it's, you know, that is the new model. And I think it's going to have a lot of value prop. And I think a lot of people will see that.
No, I agree. I think, Ryan, that goes full circle to your point, you know, just having to be able to compete as a community stake pool for somebody who says, hey, you know, I've got a node, delegate to my pool, versus somebody who's going to incentivize a potential delegator to actually put their money in that person's stake pool. You know, the people like Meld and all these other DEXs and DeFi protocols that are coming out, we've seen it that people do have that extra risk appetite. But then the idea that you had, which I actually like, now that I'm thinking about it, makes a lot of sense. Having some type of token bundle, you know, like a basket of tokens that a delegator can say, maybe is delegating to the 3 of our pools, right? And they want to support each of us. They would be able to say, enter in their stake address. Every epoch or so, they can claim a basket of currencies. And then if they're a delegator to any of us specifically, Patrick, you know, in your case, they would get that discount on NFT Maker. Ryan, in your case, you know, they would receive additional Noom tokens. So I like the idea, in fact, of having multiple projects kind of bundled in there as rewards for community stake pools. I think that would be a really big value proposition and a competitive edge for community pools now who have to compete with these DEXs and DeFi projects.
Exactly. And
you know who's doing the best job?
You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but not see you.
Yeah, I think I'm back. Can you hear me?
Oh, yep. There we go.
You got your real mic on now.
Oh, mic is much better.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I had a bad. Your gain's a little hot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a bad USB cable.
Are you familiar with the work of the Armada Alliance?
No, I'm not.
You need to check out their website. I think the Armada Alliance is actually the single best stake pool alliance out there at the moment. I'm gonna post it in the chat here on YouTube. They have an amazing website. They have a lot of information about random stuff like, I don't know, blockchain AI course and stuff like that. They have really cool pools. They're building tools. They have like a minting tool. They have, I don't know, they have so much good stuff out there. And I wish I could be part of that, to be honest. But I'm not running on ARM devices at the moment.
Yeah, the Raspberry Pis, the single board computers. Man, they're powerful. I'll tell you, during the ITN, it was really cool. So Duckpool and I, we were kind of in it together, and I had this little Rock Pi. You know, I was running the ITN. Granted, it wasn't the most stable. I think they call it the post-Jormungandr syndrome. You know, we didn't sleep much during that time.
wait. Kaizen, hold on. We got Pritesh, sorry. For those of you running Jormungandr, that was what is now called the Cardano node when you're running actually a node on the mainnet. During the test net,
that was the test net.
Yeah. So just for those who don't know what that was.
Yeah, man, it's so cool to see what you can do with those things, though.
Oh man, I have trusted peer PTSD. I don't know if y'all remember, every time you had to change your trusted peers, like they weren't updated or something like that, so you couldn't connect.
Yeah, man. Oh, you know that there's that topology updater, but I feel like that's going to eventually become phased out too, because if they do P2P, and I'm sure we'll probably see that pretty soon. I feel like in terms of like a network upgrade, that's probably just something they can say, HFC that bad boy, and all of a sudden P2P is turned on. So
I think they're testing it right now. I've seen stuff about that.
Well, let's talk about some parameter changes. Let's get back to that. I want to bring this back to the forefront because here. Let's pick one. I'll pick one. Pledge amount. Does it have any effect?
We always talk about pledge amount. Always. Every single time we meet, Ryan. Let's not talk about pledge amount. Let's talk about transaction size or something.
We can. Okay, but hold on. But that's a good starting place because everybody can understand it. Everybody understands that. Let's just real quick, just give your quick spiel one more time, and then we can go into more meat and potatoes.
I've been asking Kaizen to make this video for 6 months to disabuse people of the idea that pledge doesn't matter. And I used wrong numbers the first time I did it, so I won't do it again. But you can go onto pool.io, and what you should do is you should sort by pledge descending, and you can see the IOHK or IOG stake pools right now and how much ADA they earn per epoch with fully saturated pledge, and then pull up a Binance pool, and you'll see they earn a good amount more. I'd say, like, off the top of my head, what is the ACE whatever thing at? I think it's like 20 to 30% more ADA per epoch than a Binance pool with 0 pledge or 1 ADA pledge. And so what I always say is that pledge doesn't matter for plebes like you and I. It does matter. And I think I'm surprised it hasn't happened already for pledge as a service, right? Like, I'm surprised Binance has their head so far up their asses. They haven't figured out like how much liquidity they actually need, and they could run at least 1 or 2 of their pools as fully pledged, and be earning a lot more ADA per epoch.
Wait, that already happens. That's just on the DL. For those of you who need that spelled out, if you have enough ADA, you can saturate your own pool and have a private pool, and then maximize your rewards. Mm-hmm. So Binance if they have over 64 million ADA, which they do in their custody, they can start their own pool, never list it, saturate their own pool, and then yield 100% of the rewards from their own pool, and then pay out to the people on Binance a measly 4.5% or 5%, while they're keeping Bukoodles and Bukoodles of ADA.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sunny is saying that, by the parameter level, if you have a 60 fully pledged pool, you should be earning 30% more rewards. And I always use photography as an analogy. Like if you're familiar with aperture and shutter speed, my understanding is if you go from 64 million pledge to 32 million, you get a very small change in the boosted rewards. And if you go from 32 to 16 million, again, it's like a linear change for a doubling of ADA, as I kind of calculated at one time. So, if you can get a 32 or 16 or 8 million pledge, you can get a lot more rewards. And I was actually hitting up a VC guy to like, hey, why don't you buy a bunch of ADA and let's make a stake pool that has, an absurd amount of pledge, and you can get not just 5% on your ADA, but something more like 7%. And the difference between a 5 and a 7% reward to a finance guy is a pretty huge difference.
Well, especially when you're talking millions of dollars. 2% on $1 million, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well,
Anthony's saying
we should automate that. Like pledge as a service is actually a really good idea. Just giving people the option to essentially become part owner of the stake pool, and that's very easy to do via ADA Lite essentially, and then pledging the ADA to your pool, and for that they get more rewards, but you also have more pledge. So your pool
the reason that won't work without custody, Patrick, is you can have delegators fuck you over by withdrawing pledge and then dropping.
I'm aware, and I think you can get around that maybe with like a smart way of not increasing the pledge like to an absurd amount, but having it like at like the half of what you have, something like that, and also making sure that maybe not like if big whales come, you don't increase the pledge by 17 million or so, but you actually increase it only by a little bit, so that you're still safe. But you have to calculate how much you can increase it based on the amount of delegators.
The easiest way, right, and the bad way, which I don't recommend anyone do, but I'm still, like I said, I'm surprised it hasn't happened, is send me your ADA, I will pledge for you and I will distribute. I'm very grateful that hasn't happened, but it seems like if you could offer someone 30% increased stake rewards by holding on to their ADA, I'm sure there's some slice of the audience or the Cardano community who would take that. Right, with enough kind of trust or like I don't like
Anthony said it. He said unless you can build a smart contract
that
can pledge.
That's the thing. You need to build a smart contract that does not allow you to withdraw your ADA.
Time lock it.
Time lock.
You need like 2 weeks or so. That's once that happens, we're gonna see a big shift in the. Jesus, I need to.
That's you got to write that down, man. That's a really good idea. That's smart.
That's $1 million idea. That's insane.
Given to you all here, the listeners, for free via the chat. See, there's value prop in these talks.
My concern with pledge is like, you see a lot of these new pools coming out. The price of ADA has gone up so much. For a person to put in $1,000 into Cardano and then, or even like tens of thousands of dollars, it's significantly less ADA than what it would have been a couple of years ago. I think what we'll see also along with stake pool pledge as a service is, a lot of these guys coming together who would have created their own stake pool saying, hey, we've got to like put our resources together. So I think another interesting idea would be like, let's say there's a smart contract where you can actually pool different wallets together to form one pledge. And then, you can have multi-pledge for a pool, but then like a smart contract, to actually benefit those owners. I think that's another cool idea.
I used my mom. You can do that today. I used my mom's chunk of ADA as part of my pledge, and I held it in a separate wallet. The only inconvenience is you have a single reward wallet, and so all the rewards for the pledge go to a single wallet. And I had to, but even today on Pool.io, it tells you what that wallet would have earned, and so I just did a end of the month transaction to send mom's her money.
Alex, can we just take a minute to appreciate the fact that you said my mom's ADA wallet?
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
my mom has been like a financial disaster case her entire life. Like we used to have, I remember like being mortgages foreclosed on as a kid. I knew how to no, mom's not at home when she's at home because the bill collectors were calling, kind of thing. And just a huge nightmare. So I'm just so happy for her right now that she, I I don't tell a lot of people about Cardano because I don't really like doing the whole missionary thing. I have some family members who are Mormon and like big evangelizers. And so I just kind of prefer to keep, I don't know, religion, politics, and money to myself and then let people do it. But if someone asks me what I'm doing, you know, I don't mind dropping a few hints over lunch. And if they ask more, I'll tell them. But I don't go out preaching my crypto zealotry to people. So.
Wait, you're not baptizing them in the people of Bitcoin?
Not until they're 8 years old.
Oh my god. Side note, Jenny Sita, I just need to know how you got an emoji on there that was a dab emoji. That's I need to know where did you find that on your keyboard? So, yes, there you go. Okay, so all right, Patrick, we're off pledge now. We're not going to talk about any more people going, I have 10,000 ADA pledge. I'm just as much skin in the game as you folks with more. Let's now move on to something else. Like, I don't know. Let's let you pick.
Why do you hate Germans so much, Ryan? I know exactly the tweet you're talking about.
What? I hate no one. What are you talking about? I don't actually know the tweet. I've seen a couple.
Okay. I know someone who tweeted something along those lines.
He's awesome, though.
Whoops.
I'm a big fan.
I have no idea who this is, but oops. Okay, sorry.
It's fine, Ryan. It's not that important.
Deal. Pick your parameter, Patrick. Go for it.
Parameter. Oh my God. I rarely think about the parameters, to be honest. I think we need to increase transaction size by a lot. I think that's the main issue at the moment.
Tell me disadvantages or advantages of an increased transaction size.
Advantages is we can sell more NFTs in a shorter amount of time.
Is that
coming
from
the guy that created NFT Maker, right?
Right.
Like that's
well. Let me play
Yes.
devil's advocate. A real quick devil's advocate. So it seems like an increased transaction size would be a band-aid for something that really sidechains should potentially be the actual solution for, right?
Absolutely.
That's true, but like, let's face it. Like, we should not be able to bring the network to not even, let's say, its knees, but like a slowed down crawl for 20 minutes with like JPEGs. Like that's not real. And it's okay now. I'm not like fudding. But now that we're in a space where people are actually using the network to do things, it's an appropriate conversation to have. The downside is. All of us as SPOs might need to provision slightly more hard drive space over time because as the block size is increased, we need more. The chain will grow faster. Right now it might
kill the Armada Alliance.
Well, I think block size is just a hard drive space issue, right? It's maybe
only hard drive.
Mempool
I'm not sure.
as well.
Is it not RAM?
Maybe.
But...
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about 16K to 32K, right? Like, I don't.
Yeah, a lot of these nodes
actually,
are running like what 9-10 gigs of RAM. I think, yeah, like you said, the Armada Alliance would be in trouble with that.
As I understand it, though, the mempool holds like the transactions that are not like included in or to be included in the block yet, right? So I don't see how increasing the block size just like increases the rate at which transactions can flow out of the mempool. I don't see that would really increase.
Maybe you're right. I'm not educated well enough on this, to be honest.
I am a professional computer scientist, Patrick, as a building
too.
architect. So I know a lot about this stuff. You should be very embarrassed.
That's good.
Meanwhile, Pritesh and I are up here going, yeah, we're gonna let you guys just do this. We're gonna let you go at it. Y'all do your thing.
I like the one that Anthony mentioned, the K parameter.
Yes.
K to 1,000. That's that'll be interesting. So
Well,
with that, so you have 1,000 desired stake pools. Saturation gets cut in half again, so it's 64 down to 32 million. I guess it'll make it easier for a lot of these smaller pools. But then if you think about what's going to happen with pledge, we were talking about earlier, it's kind of like a double-edged sword there.
What I tell people, I want to get your guys' opinion. Like, I think if you follow the idea that IOG knows what they're doing, and the thing, like, what I tell people to stake by now is I say go to pool.io, sort descending by pledge, and find the largest pledge pool that's not fully saturated, and put your ADA in there. You know, and then hypothetically speaking, that is the, you know, if people were to follow that advice, there would be a lot of unhappy pools who did not receive any stake, but that is theoretically the most secure network with the lowest leverage, right? And so some caveats onto that, or it's like, make sure they are minting blocks, right? Because there are pools who kind of go offline and don't update their nodes.
Have you seen the BitBoy pool?
Yeah, that's just.
Oh man,
Kaizen,
I
giving you YouTubers a bad name.
He really is. It's really tough for me to just say, hey man, can you like pull it together here? Like you got an entire army of people that are just kind and passionate and willing to help. It's like, just come on. It's so
busy
sad.
Freaking buying a Lambo and videoing the whole experience for the rest of the world to view. I'm gonna go on record saying BitBoy should be changed to boy, like fill in the blank with what you can add some syllables to bit, and I think we'll be just fine, because I have look, whenever he actually came out and gave a specific date for the market top, that in my head I went, are you kidding me right now? Did you really just tell your however many hundreds of thousands of users when the day that the top is going to be in? Like, you're about to lose a whole bunch of money for a whole bunch of people taking you for
this is really the weirdest part of Cardano to me, and I've talked about this for a long time, is that like in when I was doing crypto or Bitcoin in like 2013ish, like we were all anonymous online and we didn't want anyone to know our names, and like if you were to dox someone, that was like an offense. And it was very perplexing to me, like the amount of like personalities being, revealed in the Cardano space, because one, I think it is a little bit of a security risk that the network is operated by people who are identifiable and who can be, grabbed in the hold of, or that kind of thing. And it's just like, I don't know, I like this kind of egalitarian model where ideas win and not like personalities. And now that like I'm in the thick of it on the crypto Twitter or Cardano Twitter kind of thing, like I really don't like how this, people get so into the origin of the argument being like who's advocating something. And I really wish it was more like anonymous and ideas would duke it out.
I hate to say it though, right, Alex? Because I mean, people, as much as we like decentralization, people like to centralize and they like to rally behind.
But we have to protect people from their base instincts, or we I don't know.
I'm with you. Well, okay, for a prime example, I'm going to call it out. Thank you for participating in this experiment. If anybody knows that phrase, you know exactly what project I'm talking about. It's some.
Please let's not talk about it. I do not want to talk about it. Like, seriously.
Patrick,
I'm trying to contain myself over here.
Patrick, you okay?
It's there's no single project which has hurt me more than this project, so let's not talk about it.
Patrick,
I want you open a can of worms, Patrick. I want to know what's afflicting my brother who is responsible for my retirement, and I'm gonna go beat him up. I think I have an idea, but I want to. I started this a little bit recently on Twitter again, or I got involved in it a bit, but please continue.
Wait, hold on, Patrick. Before you say anything, I just want to say the tools that you build and the tools that you do and that you use, I think there is absolutely nothing wrong with them. They are a wonderful asset to the community. So before we even go down this road, I'm just going to go ahead and point that out, that your system and what you do works as intended. So there we go.
Great. I'm not gonna comment. I really like the thing is, I really just don't care. It's like, it's so irrelevant. I hate talking about random projects and bringing it up like months after the projects. I think it's just okay. Let's all chill, and it's fine. I really don't care.
Are you saying that we should stay palm? I'm confused.
Yeah, we need to stay palm.
Okay. Good.
Okay, one thing I want to point out though is I've met a lot of the community members from this community essentially, and they're really passionate people that want to make something out of this failed project now. And they're working really hard on building tools, on building their Discord. They've made a second Discord, which is essentially the like reborn one, and they are preparing like a free airdrop or something like that to all the people that got NFTs and things like that. So I think the community has been really stepping up for them. But
so I'm gonna, if you won't touch it, I'm not gonna talk about that specific project, but I will talk about something that is on my mind of late. And I think that Cardano has a pretty particular, as much as I hate to say it, like brand or image. And I don't think that our NFT space matches the pedigree of our brand as a blockchain. Because I think there are too many fucking shitty projects that are weighing us down and making us look like a joke. And I'll tell you why this is important to me. I've started to interact a little bit with other chains, like whether I get recruited pretty regularly to like mint a generative collection on Ethereum or something like that now, right? Because Patrick knows this. You have some success in the blockchain space. People get into your DMs and they'll do all this stuff. And I'm interested in art. I like to say like I would like to build some kind of cross-chain relationships, but I don't know what to say when people, like I try to defend Cardano and people are like, Cardano is a meme, bro. Look at these projects. And like, I can't with the straight face look at them and say you're wrong. Like I'm like, yeah, like most of this is shit. And I would be embarrassed. It's getting, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying everything is shit, but the signal to noise ratio is too high. And I actually blame the audience, not the audience in this chat, but the Cardano community is failing itself by chasing these, the short upside and these wins by, the market is responding to what they see, that people will spend ADA on these kind of low quality shit tokens. And it's actually causing, I think, objectively, if you look at it from the outside, the Cardano community to look like a bunch of fools and a bunch of, ICO pump chaser kind of thing. And I don't think that's we've curated a particular image of Cardano over the years. And I think we're doing immense damage to that brand with all these meme coin, shit token, NFT projects that, get the kind of play and coverage that they do. And I think it's just really dangerous. And I don't think people are really thinking about it. And I want them to.
Alex, in response to that, I feel like we're having a 2017 ICO moment for Cardano right now. That's kind of what I view this as. I don't necessarily think it's going to be detrimental to the image. I think it's a natural, I say natural, but it's kind of, to me, it seems like a growing pain of, oh, yeah, we have new toys now we can play with. Let's do as much as we can. And there's a lot of uneducated people in the space that see value prop in something that doesn't really have any intrinsic value, and they don't understand the true nature of NFTs and really what they should be representing as opposed to lowest hanging fruit, right? So I think that's where we are in our particular ecosystem. Now, do I think that we're going to rapidly evolve past that? I do. I mean, I really do. But I don't know. Like I'm in talks with other projects that are on Ethereum and people, and they view this. I mean, to me, they've expressed that they view our blockchain as a viable option because of the underlying tech and how we're choosing to go about things. I think it's easy on Twitter specifically to really catch too much noise from one side of the coin, for lack of better terms. It's a skewed perception, and in my opinion, I think the real movers and shakers and people who are actually building on top of this tech totally see this as a viable option, because let's be real, Cardano right now is what Ethereum is trying to be.
Yep.
Even where we are right now, and the people that know that understand that. So yeah, I agree with you. There's a lot of noise and it's a lot of weighted things to the wrong side, but I think we're just having growing pains of new toys. It's going to rapidly mature past that. I think in the next month or two, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
I
I would agree. I would agree with that. And I think DeFi is going to hopefully change the scene a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't take too long, but I think once we do start to see some of these legitimate projects, I guess, Uniswap, right? For what it is on Ethereum, it's huge, it's massive, and I think a lot of people see DeFi on Ethereum as like this great utility and use case. So I think hopefully we'll see a change in the scene like that. But Alex, you kind of nailed it there. I gotta say, man, I really do agree with what you're saying because there's a lot of noise right now, and especially if you're on Twitter. I mean, crypto Twitter, whew, that can be a little. It's kind of rough out there sometimes. But
I'm gonna take a detox. I think the next week.
yeah,
I've
no,
too
I,
plugged into crypto
Yes.
Twitter. I think a week or two off is just gonna be good for me and my family.
I hear you. Yeah.
I completely agree with you as well. I think, you know, I think there are two sides to this. There's always, the public side, and then there's the like private side of what's being built. And, I'm obviously very much involved with the public side because I'm on Twitter a lot and I tweet a lot, and I'm like I like hurting myself on Twitter, kind of. But
So
it's
jamming.
it's been really frustrating sometimes, like because I have at the moment, like this week in particular, I had every single day with like 12 meetings per day, and I've met some of the most amazing people in my life through this through this endeavor and through NFT Maker and all the stuff that we're doing. Like I've met literal people who were in the highest ranks of the United Nations who want to build stuff on Cardano. I've met people who have like art collections in the hundreds of millions of dollars range who want to build on Cardano. I've met like everyone. It's crazy. Like literally from like super small projects to super big project, and it's super exciting. And then I go on Twitter, and then there's the community, and they, I don't know, sometimes attack you for like one wrong word or stuff like that. And I've been really frustrated by the community lately. I do not enjoy engaging them on Twitter a lot anymore. I think it has changed a lot in the last months. And I've been trying to not really focus on that too much anymore. But
I think I mean I've been telling you for a long time, Patrick, that like you provide a valuable platform and a service. And I don't think, and like, unless you want to post after the fact that you were involved in a project, just like nobody really knows, like nobody cares what AWS is doing, right, for their Netflix thing. You only hear about AWS as an end consumer when Netflix goes down or something like that. But I don't think you should take any heat
I know.
for any project that is using your API. And you take ownership when you have, like what happened a few weeks ago when there were a lot of projects live minting at the same time or launching at the same time. Like that was on your end and you handled it, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, like I don't know. We had this internally ourselves, right? Like I'm
You're
a
completely
idiot who
right.
does things. You shouldn't take any fallout because I say something stupid and you helped me mint my project, right? And also more than that in our case. Yeah.
So I want to go back to this point real fast. We are at a growth state in our particular ecosystem. And I think if you look at the number of unique wallet addresses and Reddit and all social metrics, there is an influx of new people to this particular ecosystem. And they are coming from other projects looking for gains of, like, they're chasing the NFT drops, etc. And they're bringing with them an entirely different ethos and different mindset of what the space is. And I do think what we're seeing is, it's not the us versus them, but if you look at the mindset of maybe the core people who were here even way back in 2017, 2018, who were building and just in here while no one else was, the ratio of those people to new people who don't have that same, who weren't directly involved in creating that brand of what you mentioned earlier, that ratio is changing, and it's for better or for worse. It is, and I think As far as I'm
It's a
concerned,
very interesting thing. I think like any company, or if you've ever worked in a job that's gone through like an M&A process, like how do you onboard an influx of new people without losing what's core to your culture,
mhm.
right? And how do you? I think it has a lot to do. Maybe of the four of us on here, Kaizen has the most to do with this, right? About how do you kind of um, be open and receptive to new people, but also kind of let them know like what our kind of MO is, or what our values are, right? And not to say that like we're right and whoever is coming in are wrong, but I do think that we should have some confidence or self-esteem in the methods and values that got us to where we are. When I joined, Cardano was on and off of the top 10, and I can't believe like we're already like the number 3 coin, right? By coin market cap, which
We
is
aren't anymore, but yeah, it's fine.
crazy.
Binance Chain is above us, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean it fluctuates, right? But my
Yeah.
point is like that's like the date that's the weather versus the climate. Like I would say we are the most serious real contender to Ethereum at this point, right? Like
Definitely.
people, when I was earlier a year or two, Polkadot was getting a lot of press, and a few other projects, right? I don't think anyone really takes Binance Chain seriously, right? Like that's a fucking joke.
I think one more thing I want to add to the point of bad art or bad NFT projects on Cardano. I totally agree with Alex on that point. I think we have a lot of like easy money grab NFT project. Oops, Siri got activated. So project on Cardano at the
Agreed with
moment.
you.
Yeah, she said, "Aha." And I want to actively change that. I think a few people want to actively change that. I had the chance, of course, to focus fully on releasing the NFT Maker Marketplace as fast as possible, right? It could have been CNFT.io 2.0, essentially, but it could be already out. But that's not really what I chose to do, because I want to build something which is not only more stable, more scalable and all that stuff, but also engaging a real art community which doesn't only care about CryptoPunks and 10K NFT drops, but also cares about like smaller art projects which are maybe more high value but less amount, or like fewer pieces. And I've been trying to actively do that by partnering with the people that I partner with, Leaf, and with all the people that we're bringing in, and also our investors. We have like projects like Ayanet, who's like a iPhone photographer. I think you know her by now. She's always on Twitter, and putting out like photography art. And then we have like other projects which are essentially only releasing one-of-ones of like really high value, high quality art pieces. Like the Ore NFT drop is by far my favorite at this point, because it's the best art that we have on Cardano, in my opinion. And that's like where I want to see it lead, and that's kind of what I'm trying to push. And we have some exciting announcements coming for December. I mentioned I'm going to Art Basel Miami, and I have VIP tickets, and it's gonna be sick.
Patrick, I want to piggyback on that. Like we've had a lot of conversations with record labels and artists, and not insignificant conversations with people about things. And my entire conversation always starts with, or when we get into kind of the not nuts and bolts, but what this actually is, I literally tell them, I go, let me be very, very clear. The Mila Kunises, the Ashton Kutchers that are doing crypto nitties or whatever they are doing, or cat things, or all of these JPEGs, I said, these are the lowest hanging fruits possible. I said, that is not what an NFT will be known for moving forward. I said that is just absolute trash and garbage. They're cash grabs, and that's all they are.
Exactly.
And so I spend my time educating them on basically, which we all know this here, but the better question is, what can an NFT actually be, right? And what can it represent? What can that unlock, right? And so, in my opinion, I'm totally with you. Yes, and here's the other thing. I just want to point out, people need to be very, very cautious and really stop for a second and go, all right, am I buying something that's actually scarce and rare? Or am I buying a physical product that's been repackaged with the brand NFT and then being sold for me at a premium, right? Or am I buying a really expensive receipt of something, right? There are so many of these things that people package it and they spin it in a way just to make money, right? And that's what I spend my time when I first talk to these labels and artists and going, yes, you can do this if you really so choose, but let's talk about what you can really use this to do, right? And so, yeah, I'm totally with you. Totally with you.
Just on that note, I think, I grew up in the States in the 90s or so. And I used to collect baseball cards and comic books. And, we all had these, like, I think they've actually turned out to be decent investments. But at the time, we were all like dreaming of being like our dads and uncles, with these Mickey Mantle cards that we put in our bicycles, and that would like, go bzzz, that kind of noise when you put a card stock in your
back.
Yeah, but the one thing that like I kind of came to understand about like the collectible space is that things that collectibles, to say nothing of art, that appreciate in value, tend to be the things that are underappreciated at the time that they were made, because they become scarce because they were mass produced, and then people didn't take care of them. They got lost in the garage or thrown out with the kids' drawings or whatever, because the moms and became grandmas and that kind of stuff. But things that are designed to be collectibles almost never are collectible, because like they're mass produced, and like it's a real sucker's game to be buying collectible. Like when you watch cable TV in the States and you see like a collectible coin, like run for the fucking hills. Like that's like the worst thing to buy, right? And so I really don't understand this like collectible market. Like if you enjoy what you're buying and you like it and you want that, then great. And that's probably coming at some point in the future. But if you're doing it purely for financial gain, this is the craziest thing I'll say, and I'll stop here. It's a really weird factor that we're like, when you invest in things purely for financial gain, or you make something purely for financial gain, you're usually not as financially successful as people who do something with a passion, right? And it's very clear to me, like I might just do like a hot or not of NFTs, yes, no, maybe, or no opinion, right? Like
please do that. Please do that. That's something I would love to do, but I'm not gonna do because I would be hurting myself.
Your business, yeah.
So Ken Kuhn, I don't know his name, in the chat, he asked if I can give an example of how utility of NFTs will be in the future. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this too, but I'll go ahead and do mine real fast because this is what my business is. Basically, what we're doing is we're taking NFTs and using them to represent fractionalized ownership over IP rights of music on the blockchain. And that is a massive thing. Ownership being represented in a tokenized form, that provides an ability to have extreme liquidity. That opens up a whole new realm. So just for me specifically, that's creating a brand new asset class. That makes it to where you can invest in a specific piece of music. And I want to be very clear about royalty payouts. So right now there's a big discussion in the CNFT community about continuous royalty percentages paid out to the original creator of the art every transaction that it's transacted. This is a different concept for music because royalties in music, there are over 6 different types of royalties that you could potentially be paid out depending on the situation. What I'm specifically talking about is mechanical streaming royalties. And that is a very specific thing that's just to, when you make a mechanical recording, that's somebody, like, let's say I wrote a melody and then Patrick, like, recorded it. That's his version, right? And then Alex recorded his version of it, right? So I'm the composer. They both are different recording artists, right? So I should still get a cut of both of theirs since they're using my original material, but they have their own revenue stream since it's their recording that they made, right?
Can you talk to people through it using the example of Taylor Swift and what happened recently with the with her masters or whatever?
Yeah, well, it's a little different, but just basically, point is that right now record labels, if you are an artist and you sign with a label, you give away all ownership of your music. and that means you give away all of the creative rights. So that means you don't get to tell the artist, you don't get to tell the label when it gets released to the public, you don't get to tell them where it goes, you have no creative license. If you create music while you're under contract, you don't own it. So it's very stifling for musicians and creatives. So they're basically getting golden handcuffed. So all that to say, you can buy it back and then own it. But all that to say, NFT in this particular situation, it's representing that ownership over those IP, intellectual property rights. And then as an owner of that, it automatically pays you mechanical streaming royalties every month or every pay period, right? And that's through NFTs, and that's through a parent and child token, which if you look, I think is a DC Spark right now just released a GitHub repo on, they're actually building that parent and child concatenated tokens, that solution open source. But yeah, that's a massive use case. And here's one other thing: if you know what your potential revenue income is every month from your property, from your NFT, all of a sudden you can calculate and say, well, if I have future revenue that's going to be coming in, I can now go and take out a loan against that future revenue. So now your NFT is going to be used as collateral in a DeFi loan or a DeFi protocol, right? So this is potential revenue income changes in different revenue models for music. And yes, when crypto lawyers, well, we would hope that most lawyers are going to be obsolete at this point because they're going to be replaced by the smart contracts, right? The point of a lawyer is to establish trust between two trustless entities, right? And if you were at Wyoming, you would have saw that basically a lot of new lawyers, they're having to learn to read code, and they're having to actually interpret. It's no longer semantic language that they're having to interpret. It's they can look at the code and go, no, the code says this. This is the end result that needs to be enforced, right? And so that's happening right now, and which is pretty freaking amazing. So yeah, NFTs, they're going to be representing ownership over real world assets, whether that be a house, whether that be a car, whether that be a contract that can be like a legally binding contract. The precedent's already been set. When you click yes to the terms and conditions in your app that you use on your phone, that's legally binding in court of law.
Ken has a pretty good question. Does multiple ownership start to get you into SEC
Yes, it
law?
does. It most certainly does, and we're already in talks. That's a. And here's the thing: anybody who is doing this and they're not talking to legal, they are not going about this the right way, and it's going to come back to bite people in their rear ends. So be very cautious with that, and just know that SEC is not a boogeyman. It's not the bad guy. It's just part of what you have to do. It doesn't mean that something is not going to succeed. It's just red tape. I mean, it is what it is. And I'm going to say this: we have in our heads this utopian future of what crypto, how it's going to change the world, and everything's going to be fair and decentralized, and yada 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 yada. One day we might get there, but in the meantime, we still have to work within the confines of the system that we actually live. So we have to meet them where they are, and we're going to have to make and pick our battles and make small changes along the way. And pretty soon, those small changes are going to be cumulative, and they'll add up to a massive change. But that's going to take years.
Alex and I have to hop off very soon because we have a Twitter space coming up for the CNFT workshop.
Nice.
Yeah. And one thing I want to say, I want to give a shout out to, I think, the most underrated player in the NFT scene at the moment, because nobody really is aware of what they're doing. And like we all know them, but nobody really knows how big they really are and what they're doing. And it's actually Mad in Art. And I think Mad in Art is going to play a major role. I think, if you've taken a look at their website in the current state and their NFT drops and what happened, it's all like, yeah, it's nice, but nothing spectacular. But I can tell you, Mad in Art is the real deal, and I think we should be watching out for them.
Deal.
Patrick
Before we
dropping
hop
some
off,
alpha on us.
I'm telling you. Before we hop off, everybody, make sure you guys plug your stake pools so everybody knows if they want to go and support your project.
Babel, I I have 1 million delegation at the moment. I need it.
Help
I
our
need to
digital
pay my-
nomad out.
I need
Digital
to pay my
nomad.
social media guy.
Next
Robert.
time you stream, you should put up a less fancy wallpaper background behind you. That looks like a decent hotel. I don't think the people are gonna buy it.
It's not that great. It's just an Airbnb in
Yeah.
Bosnia, and Bosnia is very
I'm
cheap.
just teasing you. I'm teasing you.
I love it.
You
Well,
can crash on my couch when I get to Portugal, okay?
Alex,
I will definitely not do that. But thank you for the offer.
so Alex's pool is Monad,
Monad, MONAD.
and then we have Babel, then we have Pratesh, which you all know, it's Kaizen, and then Karishma.
Yep. No, we got 4. We got Kaizen, Krishna, Kronos, and Kobe.
Pick one, Kaiser.
Pick one. Pick one. You have options, people. You
your
have so
favorite
many
one.
options.
Hey,
We love you. You have so
okay.
many
Wait,
options.
who's your favorite child?
Oh my
I
God.
love all my children.
I love it. I love it. I'm Neum. It's now Neum. NEWM. No longer Muse. So we're it's fully.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man. We're fully integrated now. So Project Neum, Neum Stake Pool. It is what it is. All the stuff moving forward is going to the operations and paying folks to help build this thing out. So. Oh,
Yep.
man, we're doing
Yeah,
it.
we got a lot of great people in this chat, everyone. So go and support whichever one you feel like resonates with you. You know, there's so many amazing things happening. This is quite the time to be in Cardano. You know, we talked about a lot of cool stuff. Talked a lot about parameters, what's coming up with Cardano, these NFTs. I think it's an exciting time to be in the space. But great
Totally
chat,
agree.
guys. Great chat, guys. I want to make sure that we
Thanks
can
for
answer
hosting,
any last minute questions. Patrick, I know you said you and Alex got to jump on that Twitter space, so I don't want to hold you up too long. But for everybody in the chat, thanks so much for joining today, guys. Really appreciate it. If you guys have any last minute questions, we'll make sure if we can get to that. And we'll be signing off here pretty soon.
Sounds good to me. Woo woo.
Yeah, and Ryan, stay in the call for 2 more minutes. I need to
Okay.
schedule a meeting with you.
Deal. Hey, thanks everybody that was watching. We had really enjoyed y'all's questions. We'll probably do this again in a month from now, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Probably right post Thanksgiving, or maybe like right before. I don't know. So
I kind of like the
all meet up
monthly, like the monthly chats. Like, you know, we have a beer, we have a coffee in this case.
yeah,
I think the schedule there's my fingers are crossed. I might be in Portugal by that time, and so the scheduling could be slightly easier, and we could all be drinking beer instead of mixed uppers and downers together. So
what are you talking about? My coffee is great. I love it. Lord, thanks, Duck Pool. We appreciate you.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody watching here. Thanks so much, guys.
I posted
Trippy,
a
I'll
question.
answer that offline. If I think I saw it about NFTs on ETH versus Cardano.
Oh, okay.
So I think we're closing it down.
Yeah, that's
now,
a whole
so.
nother
Yeah.
conversation.
Cool.
Okay,
All right,
thank
guys.
you everyone
Yep.
for watching. It's really a pleasure, and super great to talk to you again. We should do it more often.
Truth.
Yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
sorry for my microphone issues. Thanks
You're
for
good.
helping
We're
me
gonna
figure
start
it
calling
out.
you Digital Nomad, Patrick. I just think that this needs to be your new handle.
Nomad, Digipad. I don't know.
Yes. Oh my God, you sound like a Digimon.
We'll have
I
to do
would
a little
put
brainstorming there.
But McCracken.
Copyright.
Yes. Copyright 2021.
Peace
Thanks
out,
for calling
everybody.
in. Y'all
All
have a
right,
good
guys.
day.
Signing off for today, everyone. Take care, guys. Enjoy the weekend.
Bye bye.